Right. Afternoon, everyone. Gonna wait for a few people to come and join us. Hang on a minute. I'm just waiting for my comments and the video to come up on my screen as well. There we are. Well, that's all nice and straight, isn't it? Not. We'll adjust that now and get that nice and straight-ish. Although anything in this house isn't straight, to be honest with you. So if anybody is watching, if you can please type in a hello, so that I know that we're in and that I have some watchers. Because unless you tell me you're on, I have no idea. Unless you type hello, hello, is there anybody there? Is there anybody there? If you can type hello in the comments. Hi Dawn, how are you? How are you this fine evening, this afternoon? Is anybody else watching? You can say hi. Hi Donna. How are you? Hi Gavin. Gavin's only just left my side, so he's now going downstairs. I think he's going to go out the garden and have a little and watch it while he's in the sun, in the shaded sun. So how is everyone today? Oh, glad you're not too bad today. And how is Dawn today? Okay. If you just join in, please type in a hello and send the message so that I know you're watching, and then I can say hello back. Because unless you type in to say hello, I won't actually know that you're on watching. So, afternoon Beverly, how are you? So, I'm doing Groovi today. I'm going to show you how to do sort of a wrap basically. So if you look at the frame here, with the Happy Birthday Mum, we've got a frame within a frame, and that frame has got things going around, and it's got things going under and over, and this one's going over the top and this one's going under, so it gives it the illusion that the frame is actually there and things are going in and out. Hi Teresa. Hi Carolyn. Carolyn, just a quickie. Gavin said, have you received his email about your letters and your, I think it's about your garden letters. He sent you an email with sizes, I think, of what we got. Hi Yvonne, how are you? So yeah, so it's all about doing a frame where something is behind, something is over, and even with swirls, you can see this little red one here is coming over the top, this one, and then it's going underneath the black thing here. It's plugged in downstairs by the Lala chair. Sorry, Gavin was looking for another cable because I've got his phone one and his phone, so he wanted to use his iPad. So anyway, let's get going, shall we? So hope you're all okay today. Hope you've all had a little sort of 2-minute silence today as well with the nation. And let's get started. So literally it's all about getting this. So this heart frame has come from a circle plate and a straight plate. Okay, so first things first, how do we get to that? Right, I'm going to show you how to do this, but you can go into a square as well. Right, so I'm going to remove that. Hopefully there's not too much of a glare there. So this is my light box, but it is playing up a little bit at the moment, which I don't like. So the switch is actually gone, that's why it's all taped in with there. I haven't had it that long really, but here we are. Might give Clarity a ring later or send them a message about it. So with the heart one, the first thing I'm going to do is take my Groovi plate mate, and this is the Groovi plate mate for your, I think it's a 5 square plates. And I'm going to see if we can get a little bit more brightness on there so you can see it. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to put the circle plate in, but I'm going to put it in upside down. So the Groovi reads backwards, and when I rub my finger over there, you can't actually feel the grooves. Okay. Okay, Carolyn. And then I'm going to take an A5 piece of parchment paper. So if we've got A4, just cut it in half. And also I'm going to take one of my border plates. Okay. And as you can see, I've got IW on all these because of the classes and stuff. So people know, and other people do that as well. So I've now got a white pencil, and I'm actually taking my border plate. So to know where I need to do these circles here for the top, I actually put my parchment on the edge of where the little square plate is, the circle plate is, and then I put my border plate on the edge of the bigger plate underneath. Okay. And because there's no grooves now up on our circle, when I go across this line with a pencil, it's not actually going to dig into the grooves of that circle plate. Okay, so that is a white pencil line there. Okay, and because you might not see that, I may do that in a colour just to give you that sort of, so you can see it on the screen, because it wouldn't matter. I can take it all out and do that later and rub it out anyway. So I think I'll use a red one just so you can see it. So but you use a white one. Okay, so now I've got a line there, and you can just see that line. Then I'm going to push my parchment to the top of the plate, and I'm going to put my border back on the top of the plate. I'm going to do another line. So literally now I have 2 lines. So I've got 2 lines at the top, and then at the bottom part I'm going to place this piece of parchment at the bottom of the square plate that's within the Groovi plate mate, and I'm going to go to the bottom of the big plate, and I'm going to do another line that's going across there. Okay, now because I'm going to be using a fine line black pen, so I've got 1, 2, 3 lines now. So this line and this line is the same distance apart, and if some of you haven't got any of these plates, then I can tell you the lines are at 3 and 6 at the top and 3 centimeters at the bottom. So 3 centimeters up, 3 and 6 centimeters down, and I've just gone across like that. And the other thing I'm also going to do is, obviously your A5 is 15, half of 15 is 7.5. So I'm actually going to do a halfway line as well. So just mark it 7.5. You can actually use a ruler for this if you want. And I'm actually going to put a little line at the bottom there and just going through the centre of those two top ones there. So this is just a guideline for myself as well. And I'm actually going to write B on that top corner. So I know now this is the back end of my parchment. So literally I've got 3 centimeters down and 6 centimeters down and 3 centimeters up and 7.5 centimeters just to give me that center cross line there and there. You got some patience to do that even with the Groovi's not too bad, Teresa. It is very, very therapeutic. You can just take a plate and that's got a basic pattern on there and just follow the pattern, which means you don't have to do any little bits and bobs like I'm doing today, really. So it does make it a lot more simple and therapeutic as well. So now I have my 3 little cross lines. I'm now going to turn, I'm going to take my pencil again, because these are just guidelines now for me to trace so that I can get a pattern, so I can then put all my leaves and my swirls and everything all going through all of it. Okay, I did say that earlier on, Gavin, but just in case. Yes, say hi, type a message hi, just so I know that you're around. And just to show you so I use number 5 and number 6 circle from the center. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6. So what I'm going to do is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circle will come where it joins on the 6 centimeter line, and that will come around to there. And then my 6 centimeter line is actually touching the top line here. So the sixth circle out on the center is touching the top line, and the 5th circle out is touching this center line here where it joins on that cross there. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do is literally just trace, and I'm doing this in colour pencil so that you can see it. And I can rub that out later as well. So I've actually done the 5th one over, so from that line to there, and then the 6th one from there, and stop when it hits the line there. And then I'm going to slide it over. Okay, and slide it over, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that it's on the cross where they both meet, and number 6 should be touching the top line there. Hi Mum, how are you? You in the garden, are you? I gather the weather's lovely up with you again then. It's quite nice here as well, and everybody's getting ready for parties in their garden, I think, to celebrate VE Day. And in fact, I actually lent some nice string cord type stuff to a neighbour so that she could put her bunting up last night, because she'd run out. So I hope you're okay, Mum and Dad. So this is Gavin's mum and dad. My mum is okay, everyone. So as you can see now, I've got sort of the top part of my heart, which is that. And then I'm just going to take my straight border plate, and I think I'll remove that off of there so you can see all the lines properly. So there's that. So we're just watching Davy's decorating outside for the street party later. Oh, lovely. I hope you have a good one, Alison. Hope you're keeping well as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going from the outer mark of this outer circle, and where it joins here, I'm actually going to go straight up to that point there. and from this point here to the end one there, and they just join there. Okay, and then just so you can see, I'm just going to take another pencil, come from the other end of the circle and just come down so that it's in line with this pencil line here, and I'm going to do the same down that way. So this is a way of getting a different shape out of your plate. Oh, lovely. So with the square, I just took the square plate, which was that one, and I just picked the inner square of one and the inner square of the other, and I just traced with a ruler around those two on the back piece of my parchment, and that's how I made this sort of square here. Okay, so that's that. So you can use your circle plates, you can just do a circle. So I could just put the circle there and do exactly what I've done with the square one. I could just use the circle directly and do that as well. Okay, so I don't have to do a heart, but I'm going to stick to the heart because that's what I wanted to do. Okay, so now I have my pattern there, and that is on the back. So now need to take a ball tools, and you can use any ball tools at all, but if you've got the Groovi, then the finer one is number 1, the next one's 2, then you go 3, then you go 4, and that's how they're numbered. Okay, so I'm actually going to be using a Tina Cox plate, which is, I think, Tina Henna Corners, and you all know I use this quite a bit in classes as well. So this is all sorts of pictures. So it's got swirls, it's got flowers. I can take elements of this one and make smaller flowers. I've got corners and all sorts of things on here. So I'm going to be using this one again now. Okay, and the parchment I'm still keeping with the B the right way, so I'm working on the back, so that once I've done my swirls and everything around, I can then turn it over, do my black tracing for the frames with my fine line black line, so I know I'm not going to go over the flowers, and then I can turn it back and rub out all the pencil marks. So that's why I'm using that as a template. So if you have any questions, don't forget to ask, because I am keeping an eye on the comments popping up. But please comment if you're on, so that I know. So as you can see, when I put the parchment down, you can see all the grooves and everything coming from there through there. And no wonder, oops, I've gone that down. Let's bring that back up a bit more so you can see that. So I'm going to use this little swirl here first, and what I'm going to do, where the point is here, I'm going to put that where the point of that swirl is, and I'm going to turn it then so that the swirl actually comes, it could be coming over here, and then it could go under and then come through under here. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start, and I'm doing this with my number 1, but I could use my number 2. I'm just going to go around, so I'm actually going to go over the top of the frame there, but where the line to the frame is here, I'm stopping. So that's where the pencil line is, I'm stopping. So anything outside, because I've got this bit going over the top, I can do that on the top as well, and I can do that bit on the top because it's part of the same sort of thing. And a tumble dryer sheet, because that's a bit. So this is all from the back as well. So I've stopped there because this is what's going over the top, and I can also put my little circles in there, and I will hold this up to the camera a bit once I've done it, just to show you where the lines are, where the pencil lines are, and where I've stopped. Okay, so that's where the line stops for this, because I want that swirl bit to go underneath the frame, so I'm going to go from the other side of the frame, but I'm going to have that swirl coming over the top. So literally this bit is going behind, and then the end bit is actually coming on top again. So it actually looks like that swirl is actually wrapping like a vine around it. Okay, I gotta do that. Make sure that's the full one. So that is that. So if I move that out of the way and bring that up, you can then see that it's coming from there, it's coming over the frame, and then this piece is going under the frame, and then it's coming here, and then it comes back over. Okay. Ooh, eaten mess. Lovely. How are you, Sarah? Okay. Yes, if you can share this, share the live, share it on your timeline, share it with friends if you've got certain friends that do crafting. Yeah, just do that for us. The more people that watch it, the better it is. So I'm going to change up a bit. I'm going to put different flowers in different places. So this flower now, I'm going to do this flower in its entirety, but I'm going to have the swirl going behind and coming out the back there as well. So again, I'm taking my number 2 tool, and I'm just going to put the whole flower on the top of the frame, and you just get in the groove and it all glides. And if it doesn't glide, use a tumble dryer sheet. Mine's got a bit of ink on it because I happen to have some watercolour on me. I happened to pick that up and it got on there. But it still works, the ink's not transferring, so that's quite nice. So I'm just going to do all that bit, and I'm going to do the centre swirl in there, and I'm also going to do the leaves as well. So I'm trying to show you without getting my hand in the way every time. So is everybody keeping well? Everybody looking forward to being able to go out for 2 walks a day now? As long as you're keeping 2 meters and keeping safe. Me and Gavin decided we're going to start going out for 1 walk a day. Seems we haven't been doing it. We tend to go out now for work on a Monday, just to go in and do the web orders, and store pickups, but that's about it really. So like I said, I'm leaving this go under the actual frame. Okay, so you can see that again, and it's just gone under the frame there. Exactly. Which is why we're going to start doing it, isn't it? 1 walk a day can only be better than what we're doing at the moment. So, and then what I'm going to do, I've got this little swirl that I quite like here. So it's this swirl here, and I quite like that going around here, but I need something for it to come off. So I'm going to bring a flower that's just going to come off the top, just over the top of the frame. So there's the one line, there's the other line of the frame. I'm going to have that coming over the top of that. And literally you're just going to build a pattern in and around your frame. And your frame is only pencil, so that doesn't matter, because you can erase that out later. Okay, Alison, no problem. Make sure you're all charged up for your party tonight. You and your phone. Have a good one. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this swirl, like I said, I'm going to come over the frame first of all, and then I'm going to stop at the frame there, and I'm going to just have this little swirl come in from underneath then, so I'm not done that little bit there that's in the frame. I'm going to do those 3 bits there, And these three are actually just outside of the frame, so I can do them. These are outside of the frame, so I can do them as well. Now you could just do the heart. You could just make a full heart, and you could just emboss them. I'm going to stop at the flower there as well. Okay, you could do the full heart, and then where you've got these little swirls, I could just continue those swirls, and I could just put them around the top of the heart, which I might do now. It's a bit different, so I'm going to continue from that one. And that's all you do, just keep turning it until it's actually touching your pencil line. Just keep twisting it, and then you just keep putting the scallop on top of each one. You can just pick one scallop and just move it every time if you wanted to. Or you can try and do two, like that one is still on the line, so I'll go across to that one. And I'm just going to bring that into there, and I'm going to end that there. So the scallops have actually gone around the top, like that. Okay, so that's that one. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some these little flowers here, and I'm going to put them, I can put a couple here, and then put some swirls over the top. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit so it's a little bit away from this one. Oh, you've been making cards, have you, Deb? How are you? Are they for orders, Deb, or are they just sort of having to play in your room, in your craft room? Trying different products and stuff. And again, I'm going to bring this swirl from there. I'm going to come there. But this time I'm going to come over the top of the frame. Put my scallop all the way across the frame as well. And just stop at the petals. Do these three. So they're actually coming over the edge of the frame as well, just. I'll put these little circles in as well, so they're in and out of the frame. Okay. Ooh, I could do that little swirl here as well. Yeah, let's do that little swirl as well. And do all the little circles as well. So it's about just building a pattern. Okay. And, you know, we're going to do a little swirl down here, and then I might put one little something here, and then I'll leave it as that, and I'll show you what I've done for the corners. Let me just check some of these posts that have been going here. New group, once it's set up. Can you still get that plate? Because I really do like the designs and patterns. I'm sure we can get the Tina henna plates, because I'm sure it's one of ones that they keep bringing out on telly as well every so often. We can still get any Groovi plate, I think. Yes, and we are due to do an order, so Gavin was literally waiting for me to do this live so that he can actually do a web order with Groovi and Clarity. So if there is anything you would like, then please do let us know, because then we can get it in for you. So I'm going to try and get a nice swirl now. Yeah, I'm going to bring this swirl, and I'm going to use the point again from the end of that point. I'm going to bring that up, so this sort of finishes the base of my heart. And I'm going to bring the big swirl over the top. This one isn't even near the frame anyway. Do the swirls under there. I'm going to do the dots as well. like I say, you don't have to cover the whole of the frame. You can just do a few little bits. You can go as mad or as little as you want. I will put a couple of flowers on that top bit just to show you how I put a flower and then put some flowers underneath. Okay, so that's that bit. Okay, and I quite like that like that. So I think I might actually bring that out from underneath. Okay, Gavin?
Yeah, we've already got the starter kit down for Dawn anyway, haven't we?
Yeah, so we've already got the starter kit down for Dawn, and I think Dawn also wanted a 2-needle bowl tool.
Which one was that called? Did she? I haven't got that down.
Yeah, Dawn wanted a, she need the GRO number for that one.
So she wants the 2-needle bowl.
The 2-needle bowl tool, yeah. Yeah, we will be ordering the starter kit, and how much is it? Dawn said.
Was it 406?
Donna said, Bev said, can we get it for her as well? Is that the big plate, Beverly, is it? Yeah. And for you, Donna?
Tina's Henna Corners 2, I think it is.
I think it's Tina's Henna Corner. Tina's Henna Corner 2. Yep, we can do that. Yep, we can do that, yeah. Gavin will let you know how much the starter kit is now, when he has a little looky for you. Dawn. I know. So that was that bit, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the little flower here and I'm going to put some little flowers along the top here, just so that it's something a bit different up there. Okay, so I'm now going to go, and all this is still on the back end of the parchment, which is where we do all our embossing, and it's where I've actually traced my pencil lines as well. And the reason I like to trace the pencil lines on the back is because if you would trace in a pattern in traditional parchment, you would actually put your pattern down anyway, and I've always traced on the back. So this flower is going over the 2 lines. I'm going to put another flower which is coming off and it's going underneath that flower, so I'm only going to do anything that's not touching that flower. So there, do the scallops around the petals, and I'm not going to have it coming over the frame either, so I'm just going to do that there. So now this one is going under the frame and it's also behind this one. And then I think I'm going to do one that's going right underneath the frame. Just do everything that's left of the frame and right of the frame. So there we are. There, 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 and then the half circle there. So now you can see there's a flower right behind there. There's that one there and there's that one there. Okay, and a bunch of 3. So just keeping it to a nice minimum of 3. And I think I'm just going to have that little swirl just coming out at the top there. So I quite like that, just as a little extra decorative bit there. But it is a very nice plate, this, and I have used it a lot, real lot. Okay, so with the old one, with the one I've already done, as you can see, that is all. So I've gone with less decoration on this one, I've done a bit more on this one. It's up to you how far you go. Right. No problem, Donna, and no problem, Bev. Gavin's put you in the book for these. So yeah, so that's fine. So I've done this. This is from the front now, this is from the front, because the wording is the right way. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to do the wording in here. Okay. And that's all I'm going to do on this one. Is I'm going to take my plate again. I'm going to place it along the top of that top line there. Okay. And I'm going to make a pencil line across like that. And this is a white pencil, I didn't use the red one this time. and again it's on the back. Now when you're doing wording, you need to spell it backwards. So I have this little plate here, but obviously in the starter kit you will get the Groovi plate mate, and there's alphabets on here as well, and you've got the uppercase and the lowercase, and you have some sort of ands and ampersands and all sorts of other little commas and stuff like that. Okay, so I think just so it's a difference from the last one, I think I will use this. Okay, and I'm just going to put a name on, I think. Now when you're doing a name or a word, spell out that name. Okay, so if you want to put a name, put a name. M-A, I'm going to do Maddie. Okay, M-A-D-I. Okay, so that's that. And when you put that down then on your mat, always turn the parchment upside down so that you can see that's how you should be spelling it. Okay, so the M comes first, and it's on the left, and it's on the right, sorry. So M, and it's on the right. M-A-D-I, so that's 4 letters. I'm going to use all capitals as well. So M-A-D and I, so there's my centre line of my heart from the point and to the bottom, and there's my pencil line there. So I'm actually going to put the D, which is the 3rd letter, this side of that line. So I'm going this side of the line because that is that side of that word, and I'm going to put it down on a stick. So I'm just going to get it there, put my pencil line along the bottom of the letter, and I'm actually going to do that. So when you're using letters, words, stuff like that, especially if they're really fine, do use your tumble dryer sheet, which I think with the starter kit you actually get one as well. So there's the D. I on the end. And D-I, and then A is next to D. I know this is sort of telling you how to suck bricks really, but it's because it's backwards when you're working from the back of your parchment, so make sure you are working from the back of your parchment, otherwise all your white work will be debossed, not embossed. And then an M, so an M, and that's all I'm doing. I'm putting the pencil line at the bottom of the letters, and I'm just fitting that in there. I'm going to actually join that one up there. I probably should have taken into account that the M is a little bigger, but that's fine. I'm quite happy with that. Okay. So M-A-D-I, spell it back, write it the right way, then flip your parchment over so that you can then see which way it needs to be going. Any questions, anybody at the moment? Thank you again for watching. So now I've got my pattern there. I've put a name in there. I could put an age up in this corner here, so that'll fill that up. Okay, and then what I could do, then I could even put another little heart in this corner. Should I do a little heart? Yeah. I'm going to put a little heart up in this corner. So I'm taking one of the swirls. So this little swirl, if I go from sort of the point of there and then come around and stop there, it means that I can do that, and then I can take one of the other swirls here and finish off that heart. So I love making different shapes out of different little swirls. And I come like that, I come down to there, and that's my 1/2 a heart. and then I'm going to pick a swirl that's going the opposite way. So I've got this one, or I've got that one there. So I'll pick the big one. I'm going to do that, make it nice fat heart, I think. Yeah, there we are. So I'm going to go from there all the way around. Oops, come out of the gap, and I'm going to put a little swirl in as well. There you are. So that's a heart with that. I might put the little dots on it that's in it, so that's a bit scratchy, so I'm just using my tumble dry sheet, doing that. And this is it. You can change your heart and make it whatever, so always look at your plates, because you can make anything out of it. So there we are, there's a heart in that corner. Okay, so that's that. Thank you, Gavin. It is quite a good tip. So again, with this one, I actually took the big corner here and actually did what I could fit in each corner. And the way I did that was by putting my piece of parchment that I was using right to the corner of that plate and starting there, and then just coming out and doing what I wanted out of that swirl. Okay, and then going into the next corner and doing the same thing. So I only concentrate on this bit and come up here, and then I put a little bit in the corner there. But I think I'm going to use a different corner this time. I think I might just use this nice little one here, just to change it up just a little bit. Okay, and show you then how nice you can make it and how quite simple you can make it as well without going too overboard. So I'm going to do that. So I'm literally in line with the plate there and in line with the plate at the bottom, and this will basically give us a corner to work to as well a bit later when we come to do the frame around it. So has any of you done any Groovi while you've been off from work or self-isolating? Or you've just been doing normal card making? So as you can see, I'm just doing the corner. And you can tape this to the plate if you want to as well. I'm just holding it really sturdy with my fingers. I'm really pushing down with my fingers. You could use your Groovi card as well to hold it. I'm doing all the circles as well, all the little dots. Okay, so that's the one corner, that's the one edge. And it really adds sort of the start of a frame that you're going to be doing as well. So I could have actually left the three little dots off. And then just put a line from the point of there to the next point, because they should fall in line with each other. But I'm actually putting an extra frame around the outer edge. I'm actually going to go right into there, because it's not going into the heart, it's just going up to the pattern that's coming up to the top of the heart. So I've just touched the heart, the part of the heart there, but that is fine there. And I'm just doing that on all four corners. So this one actually vanishes inside the little scallop, but that'll make it look like it's going behind as well. So it does give you a lot more dimension by going behind something, in front of something. Actually makes it look like there's more layers to the job, to the piece that you're doing. Gavin's getting ready for this next live on Tuesday, which I think he's using pixie powders, I think he's using pixie powders. And Donna, after the last Groovi, She did a bit of Groovi after the last Groovi live, but I do need to practice on the shading. But as you said, it's all about the right tools. Yeah, right tools and practice. Can't stress enough. Practice, practice, practice. It's always a good thing to do. So that is that. And then I need to put a frame around that as well, so that when I come to snipping later on, that would be fine. So I'm taking my square plate here, taking my piece of parchment. Now, because I know these corners will be, sorry, oh, pixie powders and aurora flakes. Oh, lovely. There we are, even more mess. You'd be in a right state after all that. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just bringing it up and centralizing. I am going to tape this down into place and show you, because I can lift this up then up to you so you can see it. Oops. Make sure it's square first, Ian. Right. So what I'm going to do, I've taped that there, and I'll wait for that a minute. Yes, a lot more mess. Gavin loves mess. So as you can see, my line here is just touching the point there, and it's just touching the point there, and the same there, and the same there. Okay, it's also really square with the plate as well. So I know I'm going to be using 1, 2, third one in. Okay, and I'm actually going to do the double line. I'm going to concentrate on the top because this is a rectangle and this is a square plate. So what I'm going to do is the 1, 2, third one in. So I'm just going to rub it with my tumble dryer and make sure I'm on the right lines. So all you want to do now is get in the wrong place and then you've ruined it. So I'm going to go across the top there, and I should be using my Groovi card, or you can use a bit of paper just to make sure that you're not transferring grease from your hands. And you just come down as far as you can on those lines down the side there. So I'm making like a double line frame. I'm going to cover that up, and I know then I'm going to work on that. By putting your Groovi card as well, you're also going to make sure that it holds the parchment down for you. Now, Groovi card is good because it's got little holes in it. So it's got holes like this bit of paper, but it's obviously smaller, so I can do that hole and I can work within that hole. But if you haven't got one of them yet, and you want, if you've got a blending, an ink blending mat, as long as it's clean, you can use that to just come down the sides like that and just hold that there. Okay, so it just keeps your work nice and clean. Okay, so that's the top part of my frame. Take that off, put my tape to the side, and then I'm going to line up now the rest of it. So I'm just drawing the point of these up, just up to the line. I'm going to slot the lines I've already done back into the lines there and there. And while that's being held in the lines, because they do slot back in because obviously they've been raised by the ball tool, and just slot them back in, so they should slot in. You can just make sure there, tape them so they're perfectly in, and then go from there, making sure your top bit is right, and then go from that line up and that line up, and the same on this side. And then hold at the top so you can go across there. Okay, so I'm going to take my tape off there a minute, put that in there, I can show you how that looks all together. So now we have our frame in place. We've got our corners within the frame, we've got our heart, but you can't see the heart very well, and we've got some designs all the way around as well. Okay, so what to do next? Well, I'm actually using a micron pen, and I might see if I've got a slightly thicker one near the works. I'm just going to try this a minute. Take a bit of paper, a bit of scrap off my mat. I've got so many micron pens and a lot of them have dried out. I'm not sure if you can refill. There we are. So I've got a nice micron pen that works. This is a thicker one that I already had ready to work. So from the front now, so not on the back, the B is the opposite way around. From the front now I want to make my frame and I want to outline it in black. So in this one I've outlined it in black on the front, then I turned it over, erased all the pencil lines, and then coloured the inside of the frame, making sure not to go into any of the bits that overlap in the frame. And that's how I did the square one. On this heart one, I actually went around the outer line using a ruler to do the straight lines and then doing freehand gently to do the curves. And then I actually just did little lines like doodling and filled in. So if anybody has joined us and haven't said hello, if you say hello, then I know you're actually on. So I'm going to do my circle part of my heart. So I'm just going from there to this, nice and slowly. Coming around until I get to there. So that's the first bit of my heart. I'll go from the pointer now. Okay, and I've traced that bit. Okay, and then this little piece here, go from the bottom bit here, follow the shape, stop, because this is coming over the frame, although it's only a line, so, and the scallop. So anything else then, I'm just going to go in between. So these are on top. So you can see then that I'm starting to get the heart in, and everything else then will either be coming over the top of the frame or going under the frame. Okay, so you'll see that this flower now will look like it's, once I've drawn this piece, actually look like it's underneath the frame. So there we are, so that's that bit. Like I said, if you don't want to go freehand on these straight lines, then don't. Take a ruler, take the edge of your Groovi plate and use that as a ruler, as you can. Okay, in fact there's a big line there, so instead of going freehand on that, I'm going to go with a fine line pen and that. Go from the point, and I know up to the flower, and then that's that done. Okay, and down there, stop at the dot. That's a frame that goes, that's coming over, down then, right to the point. So that's that bit. Is Tracy watching? Oops, I think we just hit the camera, so it's a bit wobbly. There we are. because I went forward to try and get the line on for this heart. And this is it. If you've got a long line, then please do use a ruler. You know, don't struggle. Just remember to be aware that you've got to stop if it's something over the frame, and if there's anything under the frame as well. So that swirl is under the frame. That is part of the frame. That's just a little swirl coming there, and then that is there. So that's that bit. So I'm going to turn it. So up to the frame, up to the scallop. This bit is going underneath, or the dots are going over the top. That bit is going underneath. The flower is underneath, so I don't need to go over that. This flower is there, so you can see this flower's on top. This is the part of the frame. That flower's on top, and that's part of the frame there. Okay, but then that's just a swirl, so that's there. That's a dot. And then that's there. Okay, and then anything on this curve, then I'm going to do freehand. Okay, so I can see it's coming up here. Sorry if my hand is in the way. It's very hard to record when you want the camera to be on top so you can see everything. Okay, so that's the curve of the heart. And then I'm going to go again, so this will be the other curve of the frame. And as Barbara Gray says, just look at where you're going, not the journey. Okay, so that is now that. And fine line pens tend to dry really quickly. So quick blow on it, that side is already dry. That side is already dry, and that was the last bit I did, and that's already dry, and that's even on parchment. Parchment can be a bit of a pain for drying on, but they do dry really well on parchment. So that is now well, it's worth trying, Sarah, even if you just do a simple circle or simple square and just put the flowers so they're literally just going underneath the frame. So do your white frame completely and then just put your flowers around the frame so they're going under it all the time or next to it, just so you can have a play with it and have a go, really. As long as you keep with the pattern of your plate, you'll be fine. But yeah, it is very good. So that's that. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to take a nice eraser. Now the eraser I'm using is quite pliable and it's quite soft. So when you're using your parchment, I would suggest a nice soft eraser. Oh, I can't even remember where I had this one, to be honest with you. It's what I've had for a long time. And now on the back, I'm actually taking out my purple lines that I put on so that you could see. So if you use your white pencil, you'd have to do this as well. But it's nice just to get that extra something there. And I didn't even have a heart plate, a heart nesting plate. So I just built that up from there. And don't forget, we actually drew the heart as well. So you will have purple lines going all through all your patterns, even the flowers that are going over the frame. So you just do that, and that will take out all the little lines then, and you'll only be left with your fine line black pen and any of the white work you've already done. just brushing all of that to the side because that's got all the colour. So when you've got a nice soft eraser, it'll actually pick up the colour in the bits that are coming off. So those little pieces will actually be coloured. And in this case it's pink, so a lot of it is pink. Oops, and don't forget the line under the name as well. Notice I'm really holding the parchment down when I'm erasing the pencil marks off, because I don't want it to buckle at all or pinch, because if it does, it will leave a white mark with, it's like folding a piece of parchment or vellum. If you fold it, it's going to leave a mark, a white line. So if it buckles or pinches, it will leave that mark there. Okay, I'm just going to finish rubbing out all of those purpley pink lines. Some going through the flowers there in the corner. A little bit still left there. I'm just going to double check because I missed some on the last one. Still a bit there. So there we are. So now I have a perfectly clean design. Okay, I'm just going to throw that in my rubbish box. I have actually got a rubbish box there. I'm not throwing it just on my table. Okay, and that's that. And now I can even rub out the bee that's on the corner, and it's not a bumblebee, it's just the letter B. So I knew it was on the back. So there we are. I just buckled the corner of that. But lucky enough it's outside the frame. So that's not going to affect it. As you can see, it has left a white little line just there where it was buckled. So far that is our basic sort of pattern. And then I'm going to take my fine line pen again, and I'm actually going to do the doodle part. So what I'll do, this area here has something coming over the top, so it's got something underneath going under, so I'll actually do a bit there just to show you that. I'm actually just doing lines back and forth there. So anything that's on the top, I'm just missing it. But what I would also do is go around that thing as well, because I'm actually going to fill that in. You can see that's fine there. Okay. Thank you, Gavin. Now fill that a little bit in there, so it actually looks like there's 3 stripes there. And in fact, I'm actually going to take my final line in there, go around, go around there, fill that one in. So it depends on you, how wide you want to do them, how wide you want to do your stripes. So this bit is actually coming over, this is on the top, this is on the top. So I'm actually just going to fill in a little bit of there, and where the white lines are, that's inside, so I'm just going to do that. that's coming over the top, so I haven't actually gone over the white line that's actually there. Because we're colouring from the front, you will cover your white lines. So if you've got a little swirl and little circle, stuff like that, don't cover them, because they will hide your white lines. Okay, so that's that bit. And then when I come to doing this picture, I actually did a sort of pattern like that. So I actually did like that little dot there, and then I put a little bit there. Okay. The black pen I'm actually doing on the front of the parchment, and that's why you have to be careful about not going over any of the embossed lines that you've done, because from the front you would actually cover the whiteness of those embossed lines. So everything we've done up until this the black pen, was all done on the back, but the black pen is actually done on the front of the parchment. Okay, and you know the front because it'll be the roughest side. Okay, and like I said, it doesn't matter what fine line pen you've got, you can fill in, so you can use a fine one, a thick one, and I will say some of your fine line pens will look a bit grey when you first put them on. Leave it dry so you know, go all the way around and then go back over them again if it's not black enough, because by that time the first layer would have dried. It's already dry now, and if you go back over it, then it becomes darker, and you're not putting any pressure on these pens either. They literally just, the ink flows so well on them, and if your ink isn't flowing well on them, it's because it's not a good fine liner. So then we're gonna go around and finish all those little bits like that. So I'll put the little lines in, but obviously you can do them as thick or as thin as you want. But if you do them thin, then you're more likely to have a smaller area to colour. At a time, whereas a bigger area you'll have more to colour in one go. But like I said, just come back to it. So you just keep going in, doing your lines. Has anybody else got any other questions? So as I start going around the curve, I'm actually going to start curving the lines as well. So I'm keeping my hand straight. So I'm doing the line in exactly the same way, but because the parchment is then angled, the lines will actually curve a bit, so it'll be thicker this side and thinner that side. Again, when I get up to here, see where that lands. If it lands dead on that point, I match it the other side, and then I can even go in and make that same pattern like I did down the bottom. Okay, so you're then following on the same pattern. Again, just keep going around. turning your parchment. Just turn it if you find it easier closer to you. Bring it closer to you so you're not working away. I'm trying not to get under the camera as well. I'll bring it closer to me. Okay, that bit, another bit. Okay. So what I would do then is actually come up to that flower and do that. I can start from that flower, I can colour whichever, it doesn't have to be the black and black, it could be the black and white, and then I can continue up to that flower, and then I can start there then if I want, and work up, and then work that way, and then I can work my way down to this flower then, because then all the patterns will follow through. Okay, but obviously you don't want to watch me colouring all of them, do you? I'll colour a few of them just to give you... I'll do actually, I'll just fill in the odd one just roughly, and I can go back over them later because you won't see any of it. Just so we know where we are. I'll give you the full general idea then. So literally just scribble in a bit of colour in them so we know where we're going. And then if any of them are behind or in front, I'll actually colour that particular one so we know. So this one's white, this one is actually behind these two bits. I'm just going to draw around the white lines of the what I've already embossed in there and fill that bit in. Again, this one's the same. So if you want to keep your pattern there, just infill those little bits without going over the white lines. And if you do, probably nobody else will notice anyway, because not everybody else are archers, so they're not going to know whether it's right or wrong anyway. Okay. This one is under the flower, so we'll do that one. We'll take that bit as a white bit, we'll take this one as a dark bit. Light bit, dark bit, light bit, dark bit, light bit, dark bit, and then that bit in there is the dark bit. Okay, so that's that side, and just roughly there. So I'm not filling them in fully at the moment, I'm just doing it so you then get the full effect from it, and then I can finish this then again. That's there, and I'm going to actually fill the one next in here, and then that flower will pop a bit more. So literally, and you'd be surprised how long these fine line pens work. And this one, I've got to go around the circles, fill in everything that's around them, because they are on top. This one's just poking over the top of that one. That one's just poking over the top of that one. It's fine. There's a circle in that one, so I need to colour that one. And then we got the flower in that one. There. And then because this one's coming up to the flower, it doesn't matter what's behind the flower, you start from there. And you can do any sort of doodles in these as well. You can do sort of wiggle waggles, diamonds and whatever else, you know, that would be entirely up to you. You don't have to stick with just doing like a chevron bit like this, okay? You could do whatever you want. There's that one. That's that one. So there we are, that's that roughly done. Is everybody really quiet? Everybody's so quiet. Okay. And again then I can add black into other little bits if I want, but I think that's enough black on that bit actually, because I might actually use a black brad in each corner just to fit that, which will bring that black into there as well. Okay, so that's how the black will stand out on there. And you can make this a square card and just do the heart so it's more of a dumpy heart, you know, it's entirely up to you. So that's that, and then I'm actually going to add a little bit of white work into it. So if I bring that colour piece of card in again, I'll show you the white work on the old one. Okay, so the white work on here is, I've actually done these little swirls here, swirls inside the little flowers. So anything that looks like a little tadpole type thing. So I've done all of them that are around inside the flowers and around the flowers. So that's all the white work I've done on this. Yep, you can see that lovely. And I actually did a couple of the little lines there, a couple of little lines there, because I thought it just needed that little bit of extra white around. Okay, so I'll show you how to do a bit of the white work now as well. Okay, so with the white work, I'm actually going to shut off the light box. I'm going to bring in my mat that I use for embossing, and I've tried all sorts of other mats but I couldn't get on with them. I am quite heavy-handed. I'm getting a little bit better. I've been doing it for a good few years, but from beginning I found this was brilliant, and it's actually a Do Crafts stick it mat, and it's actually a heat mat it is, so it's for putting your hot glue gun on when you're using your hot glue gun. Okay, and I tend to use the back so there's no white going to show through, because I might get confused, because that's quite easy for me. And now you can see the pattern on there. So what we need to do is turn it to the back. So any white work, any of your tracing your plates, always do from the back of your parchment. And then if you want to do black pen and you want to really stand out, because on the back there it looks quite grey, but if you want it to stand out black, then always colour on the front. And that's the same with any fine line pen, so I could have gone around with a fine line red pen if I wanted to. And there's all sorts of different fine liners. We tend to do the colour time. This is a set of 12. We do a bigger set as well, which is quite reasonably priced as well, and they're really good. They've got a nice little, so you know, I could have gone around with blue or red, and they have got quite a fine tip actually, so you can see they're just nice and fine. Okay, the pen is triangular actually, so it's a nice little shape on it to hold as well. And I'm going to be using them in a bit anyway, but I just want to show you some white work. You can also use, if you have them, your Phil Martin watercolour brushes or watercolour pens, and I might grab one of them just to show you how they work on there as well. So in the kit I think you get two of these tools, or you might get something, other tools. I'm not sure whether you get these now or other tools. But there's number 1, number 2, number 3 and number 4, and they just gradually get bigger, 1 being the finest, number 4 being the widest. So I'm going to use the number 4 and the number 3 tool for doing my white work, and I'm going to concentrate on doing the little sort of tadpole type sort of loops. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to start. So for those who haven't done parchment before or white working on Groovi, the best way to have a try is to put a piece of scrap parchment, just a little scrappy bit, put your tool down, your biggest tool, and put it down and flick away from you. So imagine an airplane taking off, starts on the ground and then it comes off the ground as it takes off. Okay, go away from yourself, keep the parchment in exactly the same place, put the tool down and come towards yourself. Remember, airplane, so it starts on the parchment and then you're sort of bringing it up off the parchment with the swoop. Okay, and then what I wanted to do then, so that was going up and coming down, then I wanted to try going from the right and flicking upwards to the left. So again, taking off, and also from the left flicking up to the right. And if I show you all them, if you look at that, actually you can see this is more liney, this one is more liney, this one, yeah, I seem to have put too much pressure on this one, so I tend to work better working from me and flicking away. So that's how I tend to flick better. You've done a card while watching me. Whoa, that's wicked, Deb. Photos, mind later. Okay, and then eventually you'll be able to share your photos. So if I want to start from the top, from the end of one of these grooves, so let's say I start with this heart one here, this little swirl, what I'm going to do, because I work better working away, I'm going to put the tool on the actual line, and you can go in a shape as well. You don't have to, you know, you have to go straight lines. You can actually flick up and go off to the side as well. Okay, and what you do, you just get it so that it's a little bit white. Okay, and that was with the biggest tool. Now I'll do that with all bits that I want to do. So I'm doing the airplane thing, so I'm putting it down, I'm taking off like that, and I'm even going to do these like little teardrop sort of things as well. So from the thicker end down to the thinner end. When people come to a class with me and it's their first time, I tend, if people are there with different mats, because you've got the Pergamano mat, which is the pinky purpley one. In the Groovi kit you've got your black mat, which is got, I think it's plain now, but it's soft one side, hard the other. Was a blue mat to start off with, but I found that was too soft for me to emboss on, because you've got to really just go very, 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 very lightly on that one. So I invested in I was using the blue one for piercing, and then I invested in a thick white spongy one from Groovi, which we usually have in the shop, and that's the one I use for piercing. I actually think I give my blue one away to somebody. Can't remember who was it. Was it? I think Rhiannydd. I think it might have been Rhiannydd. I think Rhiannydd had it because she wanted to do some samples and she didn't have any bits, and then she started investing in plates, but then of course I had already invested in other things, in other tools, different mats. Then I give her mine just so that she can have a play and carry on. So you can see now they're starting to become a little bit more of a smoky white colour. Yes, you'll definitely have to send us a photo, Deborah. As I said, I think we're not far off deciding what name to call our Facebook craft group, where our customers can share their photos of what they've done. So we can share them on there then, or customers might be able to share. I think customers will be able to share them on this themselves. So it'll be like the Phil Martin and Sentimentally Yours group. So, you know, you will have to be a sort of customer. I think you will have to be approved when you join to share photos, I think. I'm not sure, but I'm sure Gavin will approve. You can see they are becoming a bit more whiter. Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple more and then I'll do some colouring. So that's the thing, you've got to remember to move the parchment so that you're working at the best way you can. Don't try to go cack-handed at it. Really do move your parchment to suit your needs and the way you prefer to work, because otherwise that becomes also a problem then, because you'll just find that your results aren't as good because you're working at an unusual angle. My little visitor has just come to see me again. Notice how I said little, because he's a tiny snip of a man. Okay, so obviously that's white work and I'm going to finish the rest off camera. Okay, so you can see now that's white work. So what I would do that first layer of the white work with my number 4, then leave it for a good few hours, which is why I'm going to go into colouring now. Leave it for a good few hours and then come back and maybe use your number 3 tool. And then if you want it to be even more whiter, you can come back maybe the following day and then do another go with your number 3 tool, or you know, if you're very careful, you can come down to your number 2 tool and you can make it look much more whiter. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is turn that back on with the lights, and I hope I haven't blinded everybody. And I'm going to just ask Gavin to get me to fill one of Phil's watercolours, and I'm also going to use one of these just to show you there is a difference between the way they coat, and the other thing is watercolours are not usually light fast. So light fast means that if they're left in the sun or in bright light, they will fade. Okay, so bear that in mind as well. But if you want the colour to stay because it's a piece you think might be framed or somebody might be keeping it, then please use your pencils and your blending solution, because then your wax pencils are more permanent because they are waxy and then they won't fade in time. So I'm going to choose, I think I'm going to use pink. Gavin says pink. Which pink, Gavin? I'm going to use the pink from there, and I'm going to use a blue from there. There we are. Gavin's chosen this pink, which, if you're not sure what it's going to look like, take the scrap of parchment and have a look. Okay.
That's quite nice.
And then you'll know then that that's going to be, and turn it over as well. Turn it to the other side. Put it on a piece of white paper or see how dark it's going to be, because it does look different from the front as well. Okay, and what am I going to colour with these? I think what I will colour with these is all the little scallopy bits that are going around. So the little scallops that are inside those petals, all the scallops in there, and literally just the tip of the brush over and down. Done. Don't even have to put a lot of pressure. Down. And I'll show you the difference now. So literally you just use the tip of the brush with the film art in once. So you're not releasing too much colour then, but you're releasing just enough. Okay, so that is how you're going to use them, and they do coat really nice, but remember they will fade in sun. Okay, especially on parchment. Just do this little bit here. Pen. Gavin just whispered something and I didn't quite catch it. They don't mind hearing you saying something, Gav. Do you, girls? Okay. So that's sort of the pink. And this looks a bit blurry. So I'm going to pick that up by showing it on the red.
You showing the white or the black?
Put it under the white, and then we can see it there as well. Okay, so that's the pink, and it's a lovely, lovely pink. So with the Phil Martins, you've got quite a few colours, and don't forget your colouring from the back. So unlike the black pen, which we needed to be on the front, we're actually using that on the back. Okay, so I'm going to do all my little scallopy bits like that in pink, and then all my dots I'm going to do with a blue. Okay, and I'm going to take this little fine pen, which is out of the Colour Time colours, and these are water based too, but they've got a very, very fine nib, and they're very hard nib. It's not a soft nib like Phil's. So if you were colouring a larger area, you would get lines. Okay, you would get lines. So they are rather vibrant. So they are rather vibrant, these ones. But when you come to colouring a bigger area, you can see it really puddles on the. It does come out as a big puddle. Okay, so you just do, and you colour in from the back of the parchment again. So you're embossing from the back, white working from the back. You do your tracing from the back if you're tracing a pattern or tracing one of your plates. And then if you want to use a fine line black pen or fine line gold pen or silver pen or any other pen, you can do that then from the front if you want it to be more vibrant. So I'll just do these quick little dots. Okay, so just you're just going to continue doing all your dots. Okay, so they were pretty quick. Okay, so there's your little dots done from the front. That's what it looks like. Remember, all these black bits will be really, really dark because you'll fill them right in. Your white work then will stand out with the white work. Do your colours. So pick 2, 3 colours. You can use as many colours as you want. You could even keep it black and white. So do that. And then to do your piercing, because it's a straight line, I just use I've got a metal board, but there are clarity ones, and they do an A4 in the bold grid as well. Place your line, don't know if you'll see that better. So basically you're going to place that line along the edge of one of your last hole here, and you can see that through the foam. You probably won't see that on the camera, although if I put that back on you might. So my line is there, and then there's a line of holes just to the left, to the right of that. And then you take your 2 needle tool, and I would suggest a 2 needle bowl tool because the holes will be bigger. And then you just go down and do all the holes around, and then I tend to take it off, line up the next line, do the lines there, line up the next line, do all the lines down there, do the next line, line all the holes up down there, which I will just do a quick line there. And because you're using a 2 needle tool, you don't need to go into the last hole you've done. Whereas if you had a 1 needle tool, you know, you're doing every single hole. And if you're doing freehand, you have to go into the last hole you've just been into with a 2 needle tool. Okay, so I've just done a line of holes there. And just as a quick little snippy thing, then I'll show you how I do the snipping. So I'm going to cut into that hole there. So there's my first hole there. And then I'm going to go right down to that hole there. Okay, so if you have any questions while I'm doing this, because once I show you how to do a little bit of snipping, I'm going to call that a day then, because obviously the white work needs to rest and I just need to finish doing all the rest of the colouring and all that snipping around, and that can take a good few hours to do. Okay, but to do snipping, I'm using my scissors. I tend to hold the first loop with my thumb and finger, and then I use this one to do the moving. So I use the middle one to do the moving, and this one. So I tend to use 2 and 2. Okay, so I'm placing the tip of the scissors in, and I can just feel with my finger underneath how far they're coming through. I bring the scissors down, I roll the scissors towards me, and I cut and you hear that nice little satisfying snip. Okay, into the hole, roll the scissors, snip, into the hole, roll the scissors, snip. Okay, and roll, snip, in, down, snip, in, down, snip. Pardon me. Oh, just got a little tickle. Ooh. Swallow like Jacob. So once you get used to it, then you can just take your scissors in at that low angle, put it into the two holes which you can feel, and then you just twist. So it's not a twist that way, a twist that way. You actually roll the scissors towards you, so the body of the scissors rolls towards you, and then you snip. And when you get used to it, so you're going into the last hole you've just done and a nice new hole every time you do one. Into the last hole, into the new hole, last hole, new hole, last hole, new hole. So has anybody got any questions? Then I can show you what this snippy looks like, which are called piquets, picots. Lots of people call them different things and pronounce them slightly differently. Picots mostly. And then one off the end. And let's do the end one there. And then what you end up with then is, if I take a black bit of, if I take my black mat and show you that, you can see then that that's got nice little teeth. It's got nice little teeth. Okay, it's like an edge of a saw, basically. Okay. Bring the black mat in. So you can see it's got that nice little saw sort of mark there. Just like the teeth of a saw. Okay. So that concludes today's sort of instruction and demonstration of the Groovi. So this is one that was done before. This is the one I'm going to continue working on now today, and this is one that I started doing for unusually my mother's birthday, which is the 1st of June. Okay, so literally 3 pieces there, and that's all you need to do then is find a colour that will make that image pop. So place them on red, try it on black card, you know, try different colour cards because it does change how the piece looks. Okay, so you know there's no point putting it on a very pale colour because you would lose it. You'd lose the pattern. You'd lose a lot of the white work. Okay, the white work doesn't stand out. Okay, the colours will stand out but not the white work. The mesh is a bold grid, so you can see the yellow is not very good at all, so by putting it on the red it really does pop out a lot more. Okay, so that's the thing to do. Just try different colours, say, oh, that one looks nice, that one doesn't look nice, and then you can do that. So yeah, what is that called in case I need to order one? I mean the mesh. So I have the metal one, which I'm sure we can still get the metal one, but I know Clarity and Groovi now does the plate, which I think it's an A4 one like that, but it's actually got all the holes in that. So it's actually a clear plate like that instead of the metal one like this, which would be a lot easier as well. Because on the metal one you can't see your white lines of your borders, where I think on this one you would actually have more chance of seeing the white lines really. But for those who have already got the metal one, they'll be like me and they'll just struggle to get that lined up a bit. But they do a long straight border one, they do a small square one like the circle plate, which will fit into your Groovi plate mate. So they do one that size, they do one the size of the big plate, and they also do them the size of this. Okay, so if you do need any of them, please don't be afraid to ask us. Gavin is going to be doing an order with Groovi in the next, well, I think he might be doing it tomorrow or today, I'm not sure. But I know he is doing an order, and it'll probably come then for a week Monday for when we go back in again. Okay, so I'd like to say thank you very much again for joining me today and joining us for our lives. Remember, you can still share the video after from our Facebook page. You can just share it and share it as a post to your own timeline so that people can then watch it over. And also it'll be on YouTube probably by the end of the evening tonight, so you'll be able to go back and watch it over and over again. Okay, thank you very much again, and hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoy doing Groovi. I find it very relaxing, and the time does fly by. Don't realise how quickly the time goes. So is everybody okay? So I'm going to say bye-bye now, people. Thank you again for joining me. Hope you're doing well. And if you've done a card similar or any sort of... Thank you, Carolyn. If you've done any Groovi work, parchment work, any card making, don't forget you can send us photos and we'll share them if you don't mind. And don't forget, we are looking to open up a Facebook page just for customers, for our customers to share what they have done. Oh, thank you, Yvonne. Glad you loved it. Yeah, have a go. You too, Deborah. Have a go. You know, don't think that you've got to make that heart. You can stick to just doing a square or just the circle, or if you've got the six-sided thing, the hexagonal or stuff like that, you can just do that as well. Thank you, Beverly. So hopefully see you again soon. Don't forget, we're back in work on Monday 10 till 12. If you can't do the web order at the last thing, you can phone us between 10 and 11:30 and place your order with us online over the phone, and then you can pay over the phone and then collect. But remember, that's only from 10 till 11:30 on Monday, and we're going to be open every Monday until further notice. Okay, but only for those 2 hours. So thank you very much, and
See you on Tuesday.
See you on Tuesday or Monday if you come to collect your stuff. Okay, thank you. Bye.